that police vehicle was overheating. So they've got another one that's jumped in there, and this pursuit continues now northbound on I-95. We're getting our bearings here because we just showed up a couple minutes ago. We understand that at some points there was some serious speeding in residential neighborhoods, and then the driver all of a sudden slowed down. The chopper from Broward Sheriff's Office responded out here and is overhead. We're up a little bit higher out of their way, and we're just now monitoring this as they continue to go northbound on the I, a little faster than traffic right now at rush hour. And you can see we've got a number of officers here from Fort Lauderdale that are behind, that are shadowing this vehicle, trying to get the vehicle to stop again. What we're hearing is that the driver is wanted for being involved in a residential burglary that occurred a short time ago. We're seeing some activity from the vehicle. It's swerving left and right there. We believe that maybe one of the tires on that vehicle is going flat, so it's a dangerous situation. We will do these chases on a regular basis, and we always caution our viewers that this is live, unedited, so we don't know what's going to happen. So you have to kind of govern yourself accordingly when you figure out what you're watching. So we are watching this go northbound. Hang on one second. Joe, where are we? Oh, we're just passing Oakland Park on I-95 northbound. They say their speed right now is about 65, 70 miles an hour.
And Ralph, at this point, is it just FLPD? Has the Highway Patrol gotten involved in this, or any other agencies?
Well, we're going to bring the camera back out here just for a second here and show you. You can see they've got a bunch of Fort Lauderdale officers there. Look at how many are there following right now. They've all responded out here. We haven't seen a Florida Highway Patrol, although we do know that one of the things that the dispatcher does immediately when they get on a state or state-funded road, as they call Florida Highway Patrol, because that's really their jurisdiction. So we're trying to listen to you and talk and monitor the scanner at the same time. But again, we are coming northbound. We're just going to be passing Oakland Park here in the next Oakland Park Boulevard on I-95 northbound in just a second here, and we're going to be, let me see, our ground speed right now indicates that he's doing about 70, 75 miles an hour, and there is slower traffic. You can see, and I'm sure there are enough flashing blue lights down there that everybody looking in their rear view mirror knows that they've got to get off the side of the roadway there as they come down the center lane of I-95 northbound, coming up on what the next exit is going to be, the commercial boulevard there by the executive airport. So
I was going to say, Ralph,
Fort Lauderdale Police chasing this guy.
I mean, and you touched on this a second ago, and the number of these you've done over the years. I can't, and in that wider view, that's an awful lot of FLPD units going after this one car.
Yeah, well, I'd suggest to you that they were all in that, you know, they work districts in Fort Lauderdale, and they respond when they've got this kind of a situation. And it went, let me say, our Broward Bureau chief called us on the phone to tell us that there was a chase in his neighborhood right there on right off of Andrews Avenue, and he could hear the screeching of tires as they were racing by. So
yeah, Ralph, since you touched on it, do we know where this started? You mentioned it was this is a result of a residential burglary. So this person broke into a house, maybe took some keys, and then took the car. What do we know about the background?
The information is limited there, Belkis, because apparently either the vehicle was on a BOLO list for having been stolen, and they indicated that it was involved in a residential burglary. But when apparently they tried to stop it, just to pull it over to do an FI, which is an investigation, a field investigation, and they took off. They took off from the police officer. He called for backup. They started to follow it. For safety for the citizens, they back off and wait for the chopper from Broward Sheriff's Office. They work in conjunction with them on things like this, and that helicopter launches from the executive airport, unless they were already airborne, get over the scene, and now they're communicating. The aviation units telling the guys on the ground exactly where they are, giving the dispatcher that information, so they know as they head northbound right now who else are going to need to notify as they go into a different jurisdiction.
As they get into Palm Beach County, maybe. Did you mention that the car has a flat?
Well, we've watched this vehicle, and we're not sure, but we can see it every once in a while. It'll just the rear end of it will just wiggle a little bit there on the roadway. And we thought for a while there that maybe one of the tires might have cut a tire, because they did go over a couple of curbs as they were being pursued here. So yeah, right there you can see it doing it right there. It's just kind of wiggling a little bit. So we thought maybe one of the tires was starting to go a little bit flat for them.
So now, Ralph, walk us through, because as we just passed commercial, you said, so we're well on our way to Palm Beach County, southern Palm Beach County at some point here. the protocol in this kind of situation.
There's
obviously.
a tire. Yeah, did you see that? There was a chunk of tire or something just came off the vehicle. There it goes. Now it's starting to
off.
Right, it's starting to wiggle a little bit here. So,
well, and now it looks like he's losing
here.
control a little bit there. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I'm making an adjustment here and make the camera. There we go, a little bit tighter. Maybe you can see.
Yep.
Yeah, you can see he's riding on the rim. That's the rear rim of that vehicle.
So this may not last maybe too much longer if he's riding on a rim.
Right, and we're coming up on Atlantic. He's out of the Fort Lauderdale jurisdiction, but in a situation like this, they are following. All those vehicles that we told you about earlier are still behind the vehicle as we go over, and they're getting ready to stop the car here. He's pulling over, going towards the exit ramp here.
And where are we getting off here?
Atlantic Boulevard.
Atlantic?
This is Atlantic Boulevard. We're going to possibly witness the apprehension of the suspect here. We'll see what happens.
Oh boy.
Here
All
we
right,
go.
here we go. And again, this is live television. Not sure how this is going to play out, but
he's not going to stop yet. So now those guys that were out with their weapons drawn have got to get back in and get. There he goes. He whips around a police officer coming the other direction here, and now we're probably going to see. Well, I was thinking it might be a pick maneuver here, where they try to tip the back of the vehicle and spin it around, but that's not happening yet.
And there may be some officers on the ground, maybe coming from another direction, that have already been called in that we're not aware of.
PBSO, I'm sure by now, is aware of what is about to greet them.
Yeah, that's
all right,
correct.
but he's getting off the highway, and if he enters a residential neighborhood now, this could get, dangerous for any schools out.
Yeah.
Also, if there's children playing in the street and whatnot, this could, you never know what might happen in the neighborhood once you're off the highway. Not that being on the highway is any better.
I was going to say, I don't think.
Yeah, especially with a tire that's flying off.
Right. So there, he's riding on that rear rim right now, and he's not going to get too much farther now before the vehicle starts to lock up. There you go. He's
spinning out a little.
He makes a turn to go northbound here.
And the hard part too is, it's the time of day where people are heading home from work, so you've got unsuspecting drivers going from A to B, and then you get this guy who potentially is driving or gal driving recklessly.
Here comes a vehicle here.
Oh, there's an unmarked unit involved here. Okay, there it is.
They're going to stop it right now.
Sort of like a little,
spun him around, make a 180 degrees.
Okay,
he starts to get out of the vehicle like he's going to run.
And
he's going to run.
All right, well,
probably not going to get too far.
Everyone always forgets there's a chopper up above.
I-95, and now. Officers are going to get him. He's not going to go too much farther.
He's almost chasing him with the car.
There you go.
And okay, somebody's out of the car now. The officers are chasing him on foot.
They've got it. They'll take him. We're going to position ourselves around the other side of that building.
It looks like they may have stopped him right there under that awning because everyone's descending upon that one spot. So I think
a gas station there, I guess.
Yeah, they're announcing on the radio subject is in custody.
I think we're finished.
They've got him on the ground.
Yeah, is that a gas station? What is that building? Oh, it looks like a drive-through of some sort of a restaurant. Okay. Okay, well, as chases go, not a lot of damage. It ended with
as far as
minimal,
where we picked up the chase with Ralph, it didn't look like any other vehicles were affected or hit or in any way, so that's a good thing. And obviously, when you've got that number of officers,
it's a lot of
you're
cops.
not getting far, pal.
No, and again, everyone always ditches the car and starts the run and forgets that there's a chopper up above. Not just Ralph's, but the BSO chopper is following and telling the officers the location of that vehicle.
So for folks just tuning in, this began from Ralph Rayburn's reporting as a home burglary somewhere in the city of Fort Lauderdale. The driver of the Corvette, you just saw him take off on foot there. The Corvette was involved in some capacity, whether it was a stolen vehicle or whatnot. That was the car they picked up. Now, we know it went by our bureau at State Road 84 and Andrews Avenue in downtown Fort Lauderdale, wound its way to northbound I-95, and then exited eastbound on Atlantic. And not far from there, this is where they managed a pit maneuver. The guy took off on foot, but didn't get very far.
That's the car that we're talking about. It's an older model Corvette that was riding with a damaged tire for a while. Then a chunk of that tire blew out. Then it was just riding on the rim, and that's when it appears he got off on, I believe it was Atlantic Boulevard.
That's correct.
And ended up at this, took off on foot, and here we are. The foot chase didn't last very long at all.
And our bureau manager in Fort Lauderdale tells us, our Broward manager, it began in the Victoria Park section of Fort Lauderdale, very nice residential section for those of you familiar with it. And I guess authorities have been keeping an eye on burglary activity, and they happened to be there as this was unfolding, and the guy made a run for it. So from Victoria Park all the way up to Atlantic there, but